Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about Insta360 Go Ultra because Pro was taken, GoPro was taken. So what the heck is this weird action camera? Well, this is a refinement of the concept of Go 3. Now, the idea with Go 3 is like, what if you had an action camera that is like a normal action camera, you have a screen, everything is normal, but you can heat out the camera module. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, what if you want to make camera even smaller? The biggest problem right now, like think in this way, like this is big and huge. Now imagine a giant action camera. Now you're like, they are not big. They are very big in contrast to what it could be. So that creates a scenario of what we call obstruction, meaning you can't put it in your hat, you have to wear a helmet. And even if you wear a helmet, it will be this big. You want to wear a chest harness in order to put it. So that creates a scenario where it's like too much conflict where you want to use it. So Go 3 was the idea. It's like, what if you have something so small, you put it and you forget it. That was the whole aim of it, meaning you put it and forget it and just shoot every day. And for drone people, it was like, shut up, take money. Drones, specifically high speed flying drone, they are very sensitive to grams. They work their ass off to make every milligram count, and you have a camera that is multi grams. So for those people, because it was small and aerodynamic, relatively speaking, they were like, shut up, take money. So it was a unique concept, not suited for everyone, but for people who wanted something that is, non-intrusive, shut up, take money. It had a lot of problems because, again, tiny batteries equal tiny output, and tiny SoC equals tiny output. Tiny sensor equals poor low light output. So this company took this idea and refined this. Now this puppy, as in like Go Ultra, it's bigger and heavier. Now that is the weird part. It's not the same size. They have made it bigger. Why? I think they could not figure out how to pack everything they wanted to pack and make it good. So they're like, okay, let's just make it big. Now, is it big as action cameras? No, most action camera would be 3x of its size and weight. So no, while it does look big, it's almost like a, your AirPods capsule, even smaller than that, but it's not huge, let's just put it that way, meaning it's still reaching the limits of non-intrusivity. Can you have it on your chest? Yes, but people will look. This was like almost so much that unless people are paying attention to it, they will forget about it. This is like pushing that. So for many people, this is like flat out nope. If they really love this camera for the size and the weight, yeah, that part is gone. So let that be very clear. And the cradle has the display and acts as a remote control. Magnetic mount with a lanyard hole, that means somebody has enough high up that actually listen to the customer, because again, if you remember old mobile phones, they always used to have lanyard holes because you could not lose it. Magnets, while they are good, they're not strong. And again, it's not problem with neodymium. You can have N52 grade magnets. It's just that you're not going to put it in those sort of electronics. It would be expensive. So the magnets is like, you always want something that has more oomph to it. Again, that was the main criticism I had with DJI Mic 3. It's just magnet only is like, no, you do not trust a magnet only on multi-$1,000 devices. It's just like, no. So it does have lanyard, meaning you can use your normal magnetic pendant to hold it, and you can have a small lanyard that acts as a backup. So that's a good thing. And the price has went up. This when they released, because they knew fundamentally that this does not have the horsepower to compete with the GoPros and all that jazz. They made sure this was low cost. This time the price has went oops. So it's $500. That's expensive. It would be more than 50,000 rupees in India, or maybe more than that. So that's there. But again, even right now, it is far more non-intrusive compared to other things. The main deal with this sort of camera is that you use it without thinking about it, rather than, okay, let me put a harness on, let me put this on and that. No. Now, quality does not matter at that point in time. If you are not using it, quality does not matter. A footage that you do not have does not matter. A footage you do have, if it's good enough, it's good enough. It's the moments that count. So that's the philosophy they are working on. So let's understand the core part of it, or the pill part of it. So sensor is much bigger compared to the last one. They went YOLO on the size. It's much bigger. Now they have also added ambient light sensor because I don't think they have high enough quality of SoC where they can directly use the main sensor itself for that color data. And many times camera companies as big as like Sony, Nikon and smartphone companies also have color sensors, because if a sensor is dedicated to do one thing, it would be really good. So ambient light sensor is there, which again, it's almost like a miniature sensor, fine-tuned for that. And does it matter? Not in outdoor lighting. In outdoor lighting, a modern camera autofocus white balance is like, good, got this, go home. The moment you come indoor, lighting becomes hulululu. Like, because again, we have a lot of LEDs, we have a lot of flicker. So camera sensor struggles a lot. Having a secondary sensor, which is acting as a, like, composition, is wise. For many scenarios, that's like, that's how you're supposed to do it. So that's there. And they have upgraded the SoC. So now they went from 4K 30 limited, 4K 60. So that is there. And the whole point is it has 5 nanometer SoC. We do not know which exact SoC they have. So 5 nanometer SoC, what does that mean? That simply means less overheating, which again, a tiny size heating is an issue. And micro SD card support. Last model did had an issue. And if you have watched my recent video on video editing, you would know that videos are huge. Relying on embedded memory is unwise idea for video. Audio, good. Video is like, you can have that as a backup, but not relying only on that is unwise. So this time they have fixed it. And the whole point is that you can have multiple SD cards. Even if you're not buying the largest card, price does go up stupendously once you start to cross 512 GB, but you can buy a lot of 512 GB cards, or heck, a boatload of 128. 128 is almost free nowadays. So you can try a lot of 128, few 256, or one or two 512. All options are available. So that's a good idea, rather than just like, again, dumping memory also becomes an issue. So SD card does make it far more friendly to use. Battery life is much larger. Again, battery is one of those things where sensor is half component. You have to also worry about SoC. Physics likes bigger sensor, but if you have crappy SoC on last gen sensor, it's not gonna shine that much. But when you're talking about batteries, law of physics is simple. Bigger the volume of the cell, or electrolytes as they call, the better the output, the end, and longer the lifespan, the end. So this time they have the battery that is bigger, and they have also boosted the fast charging, meaning how quickly this puppy charges up. So that's good. And in terms of capsule, it is IPX8 rating now. If like, okay, I thought IP7, IP8 is there. Yeah, X means IP10, meaning it is truly waterproof, meaning you can go into a swimming pool and just chill about it. Even see a surface level, of course, not deep sea diving, but normal surface level, that's like, I got this. So that's it. Although let that be very clear, the cradle is not waterproof, which is a really bad design, but if you have the pill only, you can go swimming pool without any issue. So what was the performance of this puppy? Well, at this point in time, because price has risen up, people are going to compare it to GoPro, because again, or DJI also. So that's the whole point. You have made it costly enough where this whole system has to fit in that cost. And what about the low light? Because that's what everybody's showing. Low light, big sensor. It's good. It's definitely better than the last one, but it's not like, whoa, it's not there. The SoC, while good, it's not Qualcomm level or Apple level. So, And another aspect is, it's still a tiny sensor. Okay, like even a APS-C sensor will look huge. Even a 1-inch sensor will look huge, like proper 1 inch. So like how Nikon had N1 series of cameras, and Sony made 1-inch sensor action cameras, those will have fundamentally better low light. This better than the last one, but not that great where it's like, whoa. So basically low light, I think, is the only point where, unless you are really painting the whole scene, mobile phone really can't catch up as of now. I do expect few development in the sensor that could catch up, but as of now it's not there. Like big sensor, if you ever looked at a full frame camera, like modern full frame camera with a large aperture lens, like even f2.8, you'd be shocked how much you can see at night without ISO noise. So let that be very clear. Do not expect it's low light to be like, whoa. How do you know? Every marketing material they have is during daytime. They barely have any scene about low light. So again, it's not bad, it's just that you will know that it's action camera footage. And it does have good microphone, which means somebody actually put some effort into it. Microphone technology is now sorted. So if you do not have good microphone, that means nobody put effort into it. So microphone is good. And if you are an iPhone user, you do get extra benefit, is that if you ever forgot this has an inbuilt AirTag kind of structure. So you can use your iPhone to find where it is. And again, this is this lady put it on a flagpole and forgot about it. Signal pole and forgot about it. So you can do that. Again, I do not think that can be done with Android, or possible to do with Android. So that's there. Now it has time shift, time lapse, and slow motion. You're like, okay, what the heck is time shift? Think of this, a time lapse is low frame rate video recording, meaning instead of doing 30 frame per second, 60 frame per second, you are doing 1 frame a second, maybe 1 frame a minute if you really want star lapse. So that is there. That's what we call time lapse. But here's the deal. What if instead of camera being fixed, what if camera moves? For example, you put it in your dash cam kind of scenario, and you just like fast forward it, meaning it's taking 1 frame per second rather than 30, and your car is moving. It will look like you are going whoo, hundreds of kilometers per hour. So that's what we call time shift. So you have time shift, time lapse, and slow motion is there. Now, do not expect it like 4K 120 FPS slow motion. It can't. It's too small. It will heat up. So don't expect that. It has to drop the resolution to give you 120 FPS. And it does have zooming, which again, not that great, because all it's doing is cropping into the sensor. If you remember the old mirrorless days, that was used to be a very common thing. DSLR days, where like, you are recording full HD. What if you do 1:1 zoom in and then do full HD? So those sort of thing is there. Performance is reasonable, and again, field of view is genuinely huge. It's 156 degree. Now, does that matter like compared to 150? Well, here's the deal. In you're talking about telephoto, it's almost like this. Not that big of a difference. When you're talking wide angle, even a little bit makes a magnificent, huge difference. So for a lot of people, it's like shut up, take money. Especially if you have something here and you want to take care of your cycle and still have enough things around, shut up, take money. So performance is reasonable. All the testing and all that I have looked into it is just like, it's a good, normal, average action camera, which has the luxury of yeeting out a small part that can make it less intrusive. I will not say non-intrusive. That would be Go 3, not this puppy. This is less intrusive, not non-intrusive. And this poor design where this body is not watertight, meaning if you ever accidentally jumped into the pool, this will be kaput, which is unwise. This is poor design. Both parts should be watertight. Like, okay, they have a open USB-C. Your smartphone has open USB-C. We have water USB-C with gaskets. We good. We got this. That technology is sorted. So that just feels rushed for some way. So performance is good, but nothing whoa. If you need that sort of frame, then only it has value. If you really like the idea of like wireless remote monitoring, then it has value. Most scenario, it's not any significantly different compared to other things. While it does have micro SD card, it still has inbuilt battery. Normal action cameras have swappable batteries. So at this point in time, this is becoming very boring, and I have been heard through the grapevines that there are 2 to 3 new cameras launching in action camera department. So it's reached a point of the same old stuff, meaning there used to be a big difference. Basically, early days of GoPro was like, whoa, full HD. Then we went 4K, and then was like 4K 60. And now we have reached a point of diminishing return, and we have reached what we call convergence. Every company that is making it, be it GoPro, be it Insta360, be it DJI, all are making more or less the same camera. Now, of course, some has like, okay, instead of having a flip up screen, you have 2 screens, one in front, one in back. But overall, it's convergent, meaning it's same way all smartphone looks like a black brick. Same thing has happened here, meaning it has reached its final conclusion, meaning at this point in time, it's more about convenience, meaning which one you like. Like people say, no, people do not change their GoPro, or they do not change DJI simply because they have bought batteries, they have bought the mounts. You do not want to switch. And it won't be day and night different unless you are buying something ridiculously extreme. So for most scenarios, it's like, it's just getting more costly, and it's not like, whoa. At least Go 3, I could have said that it was tiny, like you can put in your mouth. That's how tiny it was. But this is like, So it's under disappointing. Now, what could have been done, right? What the biggest thing that is missing in this action camera, which they need desperately, is single shot HDR. Right now, their HDR is like this, traditional, so to say. So they shoot a video in 60 frames per second, and they make sure every alternate frame is different exposure. For example, one would be dark exposure. How would you get dark exposure? You'll increase the frame rate, as in shutter speed, so to say. So your frame rate is 1/60th of a second. Your shutter speed would be 1/300th of a second. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it will black out almost all things. It will give you highlight detail, meaning if there is a sky and all that, you will get all the cloud details actually would be there. That's cool, awesome. Then what about other thing? Other thing would be, let's say, 1/60th of a second, it will 1/60th of a second. It will not cut it down any further. Now you have 2 exposure, one dark exposure, one light exposure. You overlay them, tada, you get your HDR image. That's why the moment you go into most action cameras, even 360 cameras, the moment you trigger HDR, FPS drops, because that's what they are doing. They are taking 2 of them and collapsing it. Now, does that work? Yes. Should that work? No. It's a photographic trick which does not work with anything that has motion. Meaning, even with photography, if you are doing something like this, you have to do this in a windless day, or hope there is no leaves in the trees, because that will blur out. Because again, people generally do it. Let's say 1/500th of a second gives you clear sky, 1/100th of a second that gives you mid lights, and then you do 1/10th of a second that gives you all the low lights. Now you combine all 3, cool, awesome. But here's the deal: if there is any organic material in there, like if it's like trees, water bodies, those sort of organic things, it will move, it will smear the image. Same happens here. That's why the FPS goes down and there is a smudginess into it, because again, it's trying to overlay 2 frames. So is there a solution? Yes, exactly how microphone went from having basically limited dynamic range to having almost infinite dynamic range, 32-bit. You take the microphone, you take the data into 2 separate stream, analog data, 2 separate stream, 2 analog to digital converter, one set for high gain, one set for low gain. Ta-da! Once you digitize it, you can combine it and go YOLO. So like this is something what you want to do. Like this is a technology from Samsung, what is they call it? ISOCELL technology. Now again, this is not necessarily in your Samsung smartphone. Samsung has a like semiconductor branch. This is from Samsung Semiconductor, not Samsung Electronics. So and they sell it for military contracts, industrial contracts, security cameras. They go YOLO on security cameras. So the idea is you take the sensor captures the frame. Instead of alternating frame, you are capturing 1 frame. Data goes into 2 circuits. 2 circuits are like how you have dual gain circuits nowadays in your cameras. So one at like let's say 600 ISO, another at 3200 ISO. Both are getting data from the sensor at the same time. Now like, wouldn't that create a one overexposed, one underexposed image? Absolutely. That's the whole point. You take both of the image, collapse it. Now you get a true HDR. And there is no motion blur because the data was captured at the same time. What we call a single shot HDR, meaning in an action shot sort of environment, because you do not control the scene, because you do not control the lighting, most of the time, you need this. Not having this in action camera, and again, prices are not cheap. It's like there used to be a time where people used to think action cameras are very low cost, they will go down in price. They have same price as smartphones nowadays, heck, even more expensive. So I would expect this technology to come in, and it still hasn't come in. I'm like, That's the one thing missing fundamentally. There are like a lot of, oh, we have this and that. It's like, it's boring. It's like, yeah, it's the same camera. It's boring. You okay, little bit better, like we have reached a point where it's like, even if you have like GoPro 11, you won't be like, whoa. It's like, little bit better. Or again, software has improved. Let that be clear. Software has improved. Whereas like, it used to freeze up a lot. Now it does not. Other competition has made sure the price does not go stupid high. So that is it. But this is the one thing that is missing. HDR in single shot. It can be done. This is just one sensor company. Sony has a sensor that does this. There are a lot of other companies that also have technology that does this. They should really introduce this in, action camera. Like same way how we went from 32-bit being like, whoa. When Zoom originally introduced it, people were like, whoa. Now everything has like, my last mic review, which was DJI Mic 3. My brother is planning to buy it. So let's see. So again, it's same old stuff, and I'm genuinely wishing for HDR single shot. Other than that, it's more of the same. It's like, yeah, it's a smaller camera which is not that small. And again, I'm really not happy with the idea that you can accidentally jump into a pool and it's like, oh, half of your camera is kaput. So this was my small presentation on basically Insta360 Go Ultra. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please hit the like button, share it amongst friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.